Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Codex Podcast. I'm your host, Sonny Kruger, and with me today, filling in for my usual co-host, Jamie, is Decoding Panel's own Tim Morris.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Very awesome to be back again, and awesome to be sitting here with you, Sonny, getting to do an episode right next to you for a change.
Well, glad to have you here. Thank you. Yeah, it'd be awesome to do an episode with you as well. Jamie is taking a well-deserved break. He's been working on a lot of things, and I hope to see him again next week. He's
Absolutely.
here in spirit.
He's probably gritting his teeth really hard editing this episode right now. So
wonder what we're gonna say, what we're gonna bring up. But Tim, it is good to have an episode of you and I. You stepped in for me before.
Yep.
When I took a break for 1 week, you did a great job with Jamie, and then also on episode 10, it was me, you, and Jamie. We all had a fun time. Our longest episode. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And now it's two of us.
Yeah, talking about Jamie's favorite person in the world, which would be Jared Leto. Yeah. So, guys, if you don't know, I do Decoding Panels. I'm the narrator for Decoding Panels. I do all the voiceover work for that. And when Sonny or Jamie need me to step in, or they have me on as a guest for their episodes, that's what I do. But I'm usually behind the scenes, which is why you don't see me very often.
Yeah. And so for today, I'm really excited. We had a fun pre-show today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We were talking about The Punisher. We were talking about some things you're working on.
Mm-hmm.
And, we were getting some messages from Jamie telling us what a great job we were doing. I'm sure he'll be messaging us throughout the show.
Oh, I know. Say this, guys. Say this. You got it, Jamie.
Yeah. So that was what we were going over for our pre-show. But last week, me and Jamie reviewed Mephisto versus Fantastic Four, X-Factor, the X-Men, and the Avengers, and we did discuss the what if Rick James had become the Hulk, which was the Photoshop I started to mention, but we didn't get to finish it, and I really wanted to read what it says in the cover of it.
He's turning into a super freak.
Oh, something like that. It says. Yeah, they really just could have said that if they want to. It says, what if Rick James had become the Hulk? And in the background, you see a guy say, "Good Lord, that brother's turning into some kind of hungry green-skinned monster, and it's super freaky."
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, I have to read that part off. But that's enough about that. Much fun as I love talking about it. Now we've got a great show ahead. We do have our On the Hunt where I'll be talking about some real things I'm on the hunt for.
Right, and absolutely.
We'll have a Do You Know? So it'll be me and Tim bouncing questions off of each other, seeing if we know the questions we have. We're going over our topic of the week. What is the best horror comic themed? What is the best horror themed comic you've read?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be reviewing Marvel Premiere number 28, The Legion of Monsters, or what they call it inside, There's a Mountain on Sunset Boulevard.
It's bizarre.
Quite a name, yes. Definitely a bizarre tale. It was told in Marvel Premiere.
Yeah.
But let's get on to the show news.
Okay.
Comic news. And
well,
first, you were going to say something?
Oh, no, I was just going to go right into the first topic there, which is the new Eternals trailer. Yeah. Now, as far as the Eternals trailer goes, to prepare for this episode today, I watched two. I watched an Ultimate trailer, I think that somebody had put together of both of the main trailers together, and then I watched the brand new trailer. If you haven't seen the Ultimate edition for the trailer, go check that out. It's like one of the first two videos you find on YouTube. Absolutely amazing. But with the Eternals, I am beyond excited for this, and I know zero about the Eternals as far as their comic book lore or anything like that beyond specific things like with the Celestials and they're eternal and stuff like that. I'm super excited for this. I can't wait for this to come out. And this is something that I'm going to take my kids to go see just based on trailer alone, all trailers that I've seen. The sprinkle of a hint of Black Knight has me salivating. I am very excited to see what they do with Black Knight. I think that with the sheer amount of star power that they have in this movie, this is going to be a serious Oscar contender. I think way more than what Black Panther was or what Infinity War deserved to be or anything like that. This is something that I think is going to end up being a really big deal.
Wow. Actually, I think it looks good. I'm surprised you had to say even bigger than Black Panther. It's a pretty big
Well,
statement.
I mean, like with Black Panther, it deserved the awards that it got, and it was a wonderful movie. I have my own issues with it, but they are inconsequential compared to what the movie was and what it did for the MCU as a whole. Eternals, I think, is just on a different level. I think it takes it above that. Like Black Panther was here, Infinity War and Endgame were here. I think Eternals is way up here. That I just
big
can't
hype,
say anymore.
man.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully you're right. Why wouldn't I want it to be this awesome movie? I think it'll be good. I think like I said, a star-studded cast. Yeah, it's a great cast. I think there's going to be more heart to it than it seems in the trailers. They just kind of bring people in. So you're showing the action, you're showing a little bit of funniness. I am hearing that there's going to be some more heart to the story. That some of the characters are going to have more of some of them are going to have a sad background, things like that. And as a big fan of the Avengers, I am excited to see what's going to happen with Black Knight. And things like that. And
yeah,
I think it's going to be good. It is still, even though they're showing you quite a bit in the trailer, I think they're still leaving certain things out. They're not showing you everything. I like that.
Well, I think it was released the other day. This is like the third longest Marvel movie to be released. They released the runtime either yesterday or early today. I can't exactly remember when, but the runtime is significant. And I think with the story
How
as
long
epic,
it is?
I can look real quick, but I think
Okay.
with a story that is as epic as Eternals wants to be, I think a large runtime close to 3 hours or over 3 hours
Oh, wow.
is deserving. Let me look that up real fast and see.
No problem. Yeah, but they said it should be interesting. Like I said, big star cast. And they said, I think it will open up a lot for the MCU. Like we're going to see, because
Oh
there's
yeah.
many characters. We're going to see a lot of characters that, like you said, are relatively unknown.
Yep.
After this movie, they're going to be known. People are going to say, who is this? Who is that? Where do they first appear in?
Household
Certain comic
names.
books. Yeah. They said they'll become household names in certain comic books. Their price tag, their value is going to go up.
Oh,
After
dude, as
yeah.
soon as people got wind that Eternals was becoming a movie, the first issue, the one Kirby did, skyrocketed. So runtime for Eternals is going to be 2 hours and 37 minutes. So pace yourself on soda and popcorn. And if you take your children, make sure they go to the bathroom first.
Yes. Yeah, I do that before everything, even before movies. Like I said, before podcasts.
That's right.
Go to the restroom. Yeah, so with a runtime of 2 hours and 37 minutes, people are definitely going to have to make sure that they use their bathroom and get ready to just sit back, relax, and enjoy what's hopefully a great movie. And I think it will be a good, fun movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, that goes into the next news segment that I'm very curious to hear what you have to say. So Guardians of the Galaxy 3 casts Will Poulter as Adam Warlock.
Yeah, that is something big. There was talking not too long ago, who is it going to be? And James Gunn was saying, one of the biggest Marvel characters is going to join.
If
and
it was even going to happen. Right, yeah.
Yeah, so it is Adam Warlock. And Will Poulter is going to play him. So hopefully he does a great job, because this is a big character, especially, like you said, he's relatively unknown to those who just watch the movies. But to the comic fans, we're very excited for this character. And I'm really excited. Like I said weeks ago, I said I thought he was the most underrated character in Marvel. And now he's going to get some of the spotlight that I think he more than deserves. So it's big shoes to fill, because this is a huge character, especially with Infinity Wars, one of the biggest movies in cinema history. And then the
Mhm.
book Infinity Gauntlet, Adam Warlock had a huge part in it.
Well, I mean,
So
the whole series, Adam Warlock and the Infinity Watch, was a direct
yeah,
result of Infinity Gauntlet back in the 90s. I'm very curious how you feel about the actor himself that's going to portray Adam Warlock. What are your thoughts on that?
I haven't seen much of his work. I know like they said he's in Black Mirror and another show that I'm not all caught up on. I've watched Black Mirror, but I have not gotten to his episode yet.
Mhm.
But I'll definitely make sure to get to that hopefully soon. And yeah, like I said, the things with acting is sometimes people tend to look at other performances. Like obviously Robert Pattinson, people kept saying Twilight, Twilight. He can't play
Yeah.
Batman because of Twilight, but he's an actor. He's been around, so he got the role for a reason. And I think the same thing with Will. He's gotten this role, and they said that during the screen testing that people loved his performance.
Like
So
he blew Gunn away
yeah,
during
they
the
said
screen
so.
performance, and that's when Gunn was like, "You're in, man." So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
my
they
my my
yeah,
sentiments are the same as yours. I'm very excited to see what happens here with Adam Warlock as a character. I know Gunn will do him justice, and I think that the actor himself, Will Poulter, is a good choice. The first thing that comes to mind is the meme that he's in, where it's all the different people from
yep.
yeah,
You guys
and
getting
like,
paid?
you guys get paid, yeah, right. So that's the first thing I think of. Wonderful range, sir, wonderful range. That movie was amazing, and you are fantastic. But yes, I think he's going to be a great choice, and I think that this will give him an opportunity to do something maybe that he normally hasn't done before or hasn't done enough of, and this will give him a chance to really push his limits as an actor
Yeah,
and shine. I'm super
yeah.
excited for this.
And like I said, shine. He's
Right?
gold, yeah. So there you go. And two, I bet you we're gonna start seeing that meme, but it's gonna be the same meme, but just he's gonna be gold.
But as
Yeah.
Adam Warlock,
Yep.
I'd pay $100 for that. Absolutely.
Somebody's working on that right now. So he's working, and they're gonna be like, I heard somebody wants to pay me $100 for it.
Done.
Yeah, actually really good. And now, so we move on to our next segment, which does have to do with also the MCU. Agatha Harkness from a WandaVision getting her own spin-off series. Tim, I'm interested what you have to say about this.
So, okay, so with Agatha Harkness, my personal opinion is such. I don't think that it deserves its own spinoff. And I'll tell you why. I think that with what she did in WandaVision was fantastic. And I think that arc played itself out. And I think it was wonderful. And I think it was a great way to end that particular arc for the Scarlet Witch and end that particular arc for Agatha Harkness. I know there's a whole lot more to tell with her story, but I don't think, in my personal opinion, I don't think that it is a relevant story to tell unless it specifically has to do with how and why she obtained the Darkhold. And if that leads us into some of the darker parts of the MCU, which, thinking about it now, maybe that is the case. Maybe her spinoff show is what helps segue in Blade and maybe Ghost Rider or Man Thing, even do a better
Well,
representation of Man Thing and the darker parts of the MCU. So on one hand, I don't think it's necessary, but now on another hand, I am curious to see what they do.
yeah, because even me too. When I first found out, I'm like, really, man? It seems like everybody's getting a show now,
Right.
except for sometimes certain comic characters. Like this character has even been in anything. These other characters getting shows. But yeah, because first, I'm like you said, WandaVision. Yeah, she did her part great in
Mhm.
there. Great, villain. How she turned out to be like, she seems like the silly neighbor, and then turned out to be Agatha Harkness.
Right.
But yeah, I was wondering. I'm like, is it going to be a show after where maybe she's trying to change her ways, or is it before? And I was leaning more towards before, like you were saying, like
Mhm.
with how she becomes the way she is, and I think
Right.
that would appeal to me. I think a little more,
Yeah.
like you said, especially how you were saying. Maybe they need to get you working over there. If we could bring in Ghost Rider and Blade
Right.
and thing, yeah.
Use
Uh,
her show as a vehicle to launch the darker parts of the MCU. Bring Blade in that way. That'd be the perfect way to do it. perfect way.
Look, you mentioned Man Thing. You said before performance, you said hopefully they do better.
So it seems like you're unaware, but they did a Man Thing made for TV movie a while ago. If you haven't seen it,
I haven't, man.
It's worth one watch. It really is. The way Man Thing looks on screen is fantastic. I think the made for TV movie came out on Sci-Fi edited, and then they did release a DVD version of it, which is a lot more mature. But it's worth a watch. It's worth it to see what the tail end of what Marvel was doing before Iron Man in the MCU. It's a neat experiment. If you liked the unreleased Fantastic Four, which I do, and if you've ever seen the 90s low budget Captain America or the low budget Dolph Lundgren Punisher, then definitely watch Man Thing. Yeah, right. It's an experience. It's definitely worth one watch.
Worth one watch. I may have to give it, one watch, because I knew there was Swamp Thing had a series, had two series, and had a movie, so I didn't realize that Man Thing had one, but I'll have to check it out.
It's worth watching. I'm curious to hear your opinion on it after you watch it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll be talking about that more. But speaking of things that didn't go their way, Lobo, we got some artwork from the Lobo and Crush animated series, and I think it looked awesome. It looked very cool, but the show did not get the green light to go. We also found out when I was reading the article, there was a Lobo movie in the works, and again, that also got shut down.
It blows me away what they decide to push through and what they decide to not push through. Fans of comic books, fans of DC Comics have been clamoring, chomping at the bit for anything Lobo, right? And the artwork, the animation for this looked unreal. I was blown away, and they said it was going to have a straight rock and roll heavy metal soundtrack. Lobo looked fantastic, guys. Crush looked fantastic. There's this one scene that it shows, this one still with Lobo riding the body of this creature into the atmosphere of a planet, and he's pulling some dude with the Superman shirt on right behind him. It looks wonderful, and I wish that they would have continued with that. And the article didn't even go into whatever reasons why they decided to cancel it. HBO, seriously, you need to bring that back. That needs to happen.
Yes. Yeah, and like I said, that was the most picture that caught my attention too. Like I said, the one where Lobo riding it. It was really cool. And like I said, with that, like a good heavy metal soundtrack, it would just go perfect,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And obviously, it'd have to be rated, mature.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta let it do what you can do. Like I said, they have a Harley Quinn show that's mature.
Right. Harley Quinn is tearing the ratings apart. Yeah. And Lobo would be in the same vein of that style of comedy and humor, but it would be Lobo and Crush, and it'd be awesome. We can only hope and we can only dream.
Yeah. I think they dropped the ball in turning it down. But like I said, it's so weird.
Right.
Certain shows that do get pushed, and then certain ones that get canceled and they don't get picked up. It's literally one or two people's opinions when they say, "Hey, I'm pitching the show." It could be somebody who just has bad taste. Right. This is trash. We want some other show.
Well, speaking of shows that got picked up, that are getting made and are already finished, how about that Peacemaker sequel, which is the show that's going to be on HBO Max?
That should be really good. Yeah, like I said, they have confirmed, James Gunn confirmed that it is actually the sequel to the Suicide Squad. Because people were wondering, is it before? Is it how he gets his, how he becomes Peacemaker? Or is it after? So it has been confirmed that it is after. So I think it's really well. That's what we want to see. It's nice to see origin stories, but I want to see his story continue. And I thought it was a great character in the movie, and I am excited to see the show. What about you? I know I've talked to Jamie about it.
Well, though the actor that plays Peacemaker remains invisible to this day, I am very excited to watch a suit with no body inside walk around, because we can't see John Cena at all. No, seriously, I'm excited for this. Peacemaker was one of my favorite characters in the Suicide Squad movie. and his story arc throughout all that was absolutely heartbreaking and shocking and exhilarating at the same time. And it was my favorite part about the movie itself, just watching Peacemaker as a character, this D-list character that nobody gave a snot about, is thrown into this movie on the Suicide Squad team, and John Cena just blew that performance out of the water. So to give him a multi-episode series just on Peacemaker alone to see what happens after the events of the Suicide Squad, I am 110% down.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited for it. I think it is going to be a really good show. Funny with action, but also I think there's going to be some drama to it as well.
Oh, yeah.
And it'd be really good. And I realized I messed up on our notes that we almost missed a certain thing with Skittles and Spider-Man, and I'll let you take it away.
Oh, yeah. So the Russians have delivered us a wonderful treat with a Skittles ad to promote Spider-Man Far From Home. And on that Skittles ad just so happens to be Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man in full suit. My opinion on that, it's not official until it's official, but I have seen so many things. And if you guys have ever watched that YouTube video with the dudes that work in visual effects and stuff like this, that like literally debunked it being a hoax or fake or a deep fake and said that this is about as real as you can get, with that video that showed Garfield on the green screen on the scaffolding or whatever it was sitting there, right? We all know it's true. Garfield knows it's true. Sony knows it's true. They just refuse to admit it's true until it's time to admit that, hey, these guys are in there. So I won't cry from the mountains yet, but just seeing another piece of that. And companies have done that before. They have spoiled things. Like Lego is notorious for that when they put out their pictures of the new toy lines that are coming out for specific movie tie-ins and things like that. Lego is wonderful in spoiling things. So why not Skittles in Russia? And Russia's like, hey, here you guys go, Andrew Garfield. Oops, sorry. Oh, awesome. Thanks a lot, comrade. Have a good day. And there we go.
Yeah, they're pretty funny too. Like, who would think that that's what it would be? It would be a Russian Skittles ad that gives it away.
Right. So
who would have thought?
What are your thoughts, Sonny? How do you feel about if it is or if it isn't?
I think it pretty much is. I think we kind of know that it's going to be the three. I'd be very shocked if it's not Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland. It'd be everything he's been pushing towards. I know they're trying to keep it a secret, but it's just too hard to keep this secret. Everybody's trying to take pictures of it on set. You got Skittles ads giving it away. They're trying to keep it a secret, but
this is the worst kept secret in Hollywood. It's like that parent that hates waiting until Christmas to give their kids presents to them, and they leave the closet door open just a little bit for them to peek inside. But they're like, nope, you didn't see anything in there. Well, yeah, I did, Mom. I did. No, not until Christmas Day.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. Yeah, and it literally comes out around Christmas.
Right, exactly. So Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it truly is there. Yeah, the surprise that you didn't know about.
Right. Well, sticking with film and stuff like that, or maybe even going back into television a little bit, the Daredevil showrunner quitting Marvel due to the current editor-in-chief. Sonny?
Yeah, that was a big story this week. Let me make sure I get the names right. That the showrunner Stephen S. D. Knight said he wants to be done with the show because of the controversy around the editor-in-chief C.B. Cebulski. And now if you don't know what it is that C.B. Cebulski was pretending to be a Japanese writer by the name of Akira Yoshida. Mm-hmm. And with that, he worked on the X-Men, Thor, the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And it does get worse that he would give interviews, like online interviews, pretending to be this man Yoshida, saying he learned, talking about experiences of growing up in Japan, saying that he learned English from reading comic books and this and that. and then you find out that there is no Akira Yoshida, that it was CB Zabolski the whole time.
No.
And now Stephen S. DeKnight says he's done with Marvel. He won't work with them again until something is done about this. But I know earlier you were telling me that this is not that it's not so new of news to everybody.
No, this is old news, right? The only new news is that the current Daredevil showrunner and writer for Marvel is just now discovering this after 3 years. So here's my opinion on this, okay? And it needs to be said before that this is just my opinion, right? So Stephen DeKnight, as high up in Marvel as he currently is, and knowing who the other guy is, the editor-in-chief that he works with, did work with until his tweet came out saying he refuses any more work from Marvel, that it took him 3 years to figure this out, is not anybody else's fault but his own. Okay. And with that being said, this is information that has already been covered before, and about having to do with this before he became editor-in-chief and all of that stuff. And I believe he's already apologized for that. And even in the article, he makes mention that when this was done, when he wrote under the pen name, that he was a naive, younger person that really didn't understand cultural appropriation and things like that, and decided to use a Japanese name as a pen name, create a whole history for this character that didn't exist, and interviews and pretend to have proof and things like that. And then he did this all for about a year. And then he squashed all of that, revealed who he was, revealed that this pen name didn't actually exist, and the world moved on. Now, Stephen DeKnight is just now discovering this and is throwing his arms up in the air and getting all upset about this and refusing to work with Marvel until this is dealt with or he is removed. Well, Stephen, it's been dealt with. It was dealt with 3 years ago. You are 3 years behind everybody else. And now you want to stomp your feet and get upset and fold your arms and threaten to not work with Marvel anymore. That's fine. Marvel doesn't care. They've got plenty of other up and coming writers or writers that are already at stardom status that they can rely on and move to. It doesn't matter. The point is that the other editor-in-chief, I can't remember his name, he has already apologized for this. And this is something that has already been completed. So it makes no sense to bring it up. It's like when they brought the information up about Kevin Hart saying derogatory things or jokes that really don't go over very well now. Back in the past
with the awards, when they told me he couldn't do the awards,
right? Exactly. That was something that he had already apologized for, had already said that he felt ashamed that he had done. But when the Oscars came around, people on different social media sites that feel that their voice needs to be louder than everybody else's demanded he apologize again. And what Kevin Hart do? He said, absolutely not. I've already dealt with that. I've already said I'm sorry. I've already given a public apology for the world to see, and I am not doing it again. There is no reason to. The world has moved on, with the exception of this small band of very loud and obnoxious people that seem to think that their opinion matters, which it does not. It matters about as much as mine does. Now, with all that being said, Stephen DeKnight just needs to move on. If he refuses to work with Marvel, then he can move on to other companies and he can go work with DC, or he can go do his own creator-owned comic with Image or Boom Studios, IDW, Zenescope, even if he wants to. That is entirely up to him. I think that that this is something that doesn't need to be rehashed. It's already been hashed. It's already been finished. It's already been squashed. And the only reason to bring it up again is to just make a scene. And nobody likes people that make a scene for no other reason than to do that.
And I do think though now, like with years going by, that now, because before I didn't know about it years ago, but now he's brought more attention to it. I wonder what will happen with Zabolski if more people, like say, make noise, if they make him step down, because we see the world is changing, every year. Things
Right.
like this are getting more people in trouble. And we saw, like we said, what happened with Kevin Hart a few years ago. And if the Knight does not want to return, I'd gladly step in and work for Marvel. I'll run a show.
Well, see,
I'm pretty popular. My promo for this has over 150 views.
That's amazing. That's fantastic.
There we go. I gladly would take over.
Well, see, Sonny, like you said, the world is changing, and that's the thing. It's changing at lightning fast speed, and it's taking some people some time to catch up to that. And people need to be patient, and they need to be welcoming, and they need to be humble, and they need to help and guide, right? People's pasts are their pasts, and if they have not atoned for wrong things in their past, that is something that they should atone for. Whether a public apology or not is entirely up to them. The rest of the world does not need to know. There's no reason for them to know. They're not privy to personal lives. They don't need to be. And these editors and chiefs and showrunners and writers are not privy to our personal lives, and they don't need to be either. These are people too. They make mistakes. Yeah. They do the wrong thing. They have a great idea that turns out to be a not so great idea, and they don't need to be punished for it every single year with something like this. Now, beyond that, with obvious common sense things that you shouldn't do, yes, but something like this, no.
And like you did say, like I didn't realize that he was the one, he gave himself up. He came out. You said
right, exactly. Yeah,
I made this mistake. It was a dumb mistake, and that years have gone by. So that is something that people do. Like I said, they make mistakes. Some of them are. Some mistakes are kind of hard to forgive and be like, okay, I can understand you don't want to work with somebody like that, but certain ones, like you said, sometimes, hey, let somebody learn from their mistakes, and they can move on.
Well, see, here's Sobolski's quote, and I'll read this. This is Sobolski's quote as told to Bleeding Cool, and I quote: "I stopped writing under the pseudonym Akira Yoshida after about a year. It wasn't transparent, but it taught me a lot about writing, communication, and pressure. I was young and naive and had a lot to learn back then, but this is all old news that has been dealt with. And now, as Marvel's new editor-in-chief, I'm turning a new page and am excited to start sharing all my Marvel experiences with up-and-coming talent around the globe." End quote. And it's been public information since 2017.
Wow. And that's something too, like I said, to still, he admitted what he did, and people, so obviously people knew, and he must have done something to make them, they still moved him up the ladder to make him editor-in-chief. So he must have put some kind of work in. I don't know what it is, but somehow he made his way.
Here's one more thing for you. Does anybody know who Richard Bachman is? Do you know? No. Well, Richard Bachman was the pseudonym that Stephen King wrote under for years, right? Created this whole story, used a real picture of a real person as Richard Bachman, and had this whole history of this fake person because he wanted to write books under a different name to see if people would buy and read those books in his writing style, but without his name on them. And they did, and it worked. But those books flew kind of under the radar until it was exposed that Stephen King was Richard Bachman. Then Stephen King had Richard Bachman buried and killed, and that's why The Dark Half was written. Right? So people do this all the time.
Yeah.
So people do it better than others, obviously, but it happens.
Yeah, like you did say that it is very common in writing to have a pseudonym to write under other names.
And Sonny, you would know this. What's the name directors or writers use when they absolutely do not want to be attributed to the particular project that they're on?
I was just looking this up the other day, like a week ago, and then they were saying it's starting to change.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember. What do you remember what it is? Because right now it's not going to my
Right,
mind.
but you know what I'm talking about. Directors and writers and things like that that work on these movies that get
Yeah,
changed or edited or fixed or whatever the case may be, and they just don't want anything to do with it anymore. They use the pseudonym.
yeah. I think they were saying with Dune coming out that at
Hmm.
one point David Lynch didn't want his name attached to it, so they used that other name, and they said it's
Exactly.
it's a name that many directors use when they don't want to be attached to something. So yeah, it's
Exactly.
nothing new. I think the thing that makes this one more of a story is
Hmm.
that he used the name of a Japanese person,
Right. Exactly.
Japanese man, and then like to go ahead and say, oh, I was Japanese, and
Hmm.
I think it's the race thing too that makes it more broad up. So I
Right.
think if he
Which
just used a name, if he's like my name Bob Smith,
now,
I don't think many people would be making much noise
and
about it.
that goes into the whole thing of cultural appropriation
Yeah,
and things like that, and taking from other cultures that you do not belong to. In a story, it's a story, but if you're using it as a pseudonym to write and create and put things out for the public to see, then people have every right to scrutinize and criticize that choice. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
yeah. So me too. I think that we've talked about, we've discussed it. And we can move on to our
Yeah,
last Marvel thing before we get into the big news that's been talked about.
right.
I do want to mention and see your opinion on Chris Claremont's return to the X-Men.
Okay, so this I think is kind of cool. He's coming back to do a story in X-Men Legends number 12, and this is going to be like a prequel Excalibur story before what he and Alan Davis did on their run for Excalibur. So it has to do with Shadowcat, Nightcrawler, Mystique, and Destiny. And it's going to be this whole story and event that he's going to do. This is how I see it. I see Claremont uh as a guy going back to an old trunk full of a bunch of memories, full of a bunch of cool things, and flipping that sucker open and being like, I'm going to fill in the gap on this story. And that's what he's doing. He's pulling out that information. He's sitting down and he's writing that out. And he's given us a much needed fill in for a particular section. Is it X-Men? Not necessarily. It's Excalibur, which I think other people need to check out instead of just focusing on Claremont's X-Men run, because he's done so much wonderful work in a bunch of other places, and Excalibur is one of those. I am super excited for this.
Yeah, I think it will be really good. And like you said, Excalibur, like I said, people always think of X-Men, just X-Men, but they don't realize that, the other X teams are great as well. Like I said,
Right.
New Mutants, Excalibur, or X-Force,
Mm-hmm.
X Factor, yeah. So the X-Men Legends, though, I was going to ask you, like, are you familiar? Because when I was looking into it, it seems that they mostly do X-Men or X teams stories, but kind of like you said, kind of over it, but filling in little gaps.
Right. Well, they brought in other writers and creators from X-Men past to do stories too, and it was only a matter of time before they brought Claremont in.
Yeah, smart choice, and yeah, it should be really good and interesting. I heard that they're also going to do an X Factor one. I heard that they've already done Fall of the Mutants, so
Yeah, I'm excited for X Factor. I didn't even know about that. I'm ready to go. I'll put that on my
there you go.
plate
Yeah,
this weekend.
yeah. So it should be good. Good news for X Men Legends. All right, and then now we got to move on to the big news that has everybody talking. Even people who aren't into comic books are talking about this. Superman coming out, but it's not Clark Kent Superman. It is the son of Superman.
That's right. Sonny, do you want to give your opinion first? Because mine is going to be lengthy.
Um, if we want, I mean, okay, fine, sure.
Okay.
I'll go ahead with it. Yeah. So, but one thing is too is that I would say that the actor who's played Superman before, Dean Cain, has come out and he has said that he doesn't think it's brave or it's bold, and I mean, there's probably some people who really don't like that he said that, but he's entitled to his opinion, so whether we agree with it or not agree with it,
Mm-hmm.
as everyone's entitled to their opinion. Um, and it does seem like now, like I said, a lot more characters are coming out, and Monday was they said National Coming Out Day. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize that. Yeah, so it was Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day, Coming Out Day. Next year there may be a
All
few
in
more
one
added to it.
day.
Yeah, all on
Wow.
Monday. Yeah, so there was a lot on
people
Monday
don't
the 11th.
people don't work well on Mondays as it is, guys. Give us one special thing to focus on each day, not 3-on-1.
Yeah, we got 3-on-1, and I'm sure, like I said, next year there'll be a few more to add to it.
Right?
But me, because as soon as you first hear Superman is bisexual, you think, wait, what? Clark Kent, Kal-El, but it is his son, and me, I mean, I don't think I would have, if I was writing it, I'm not writing it, I would have put him in that direction. But I mean, it is the writer's jobs to do something to get people reading. And I'm like, well, I guess if that's how they see the character, I just hope that they do the character justice, that it's not just a ploy to just get people talking. Yes, people are talking.
To
People will
sell
buy it.
issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want people like, don't do it just to sell issues. Make it so that it's a great story, because I believe a story could still be great, and I'm a fan of romance, whether it could be between a man and a woman, a man and a man, a woman and a woman. So I just hope that the story itself is just a great one, and not just to do it to pull us in, and then it's like
Right.
this or like suddenly he's this straight guy the whole time, and then just in one issue he just suddenly is in love with a man.
Right.
I hope that they just do the character justice, and if they're going to go forward with that storyline, do that kind of storyline, do that kind of romance justice.
Right. Absolutely. You ready?
So I'm ready now.
Okay. So, guys that are watching this, if you didn't like my opinion on the Daredevil showrunner, then you're not going to like what I have to say now. But you're grown-ups, you're adults, and you can handle it. It's okay. Here's my opinion on.
I'm triggered. You triggered me.
It
takes a lot to get me going.
Here's my opinion on Superman's son coming out as bisexual. I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. And I'll tell you why. It's not Superman, number one. Superman is a whole nother character. Superman is Clark Kent. Superman is Kal-El. This is the son of Kal-El. This is a different Superman. This is not the Superman that has been around since the 30s up until this minute and the minutes beyond. This is a wholly different character. Now, with that being said, all of you people that complained about homosexuality invading comic books and certain characters all of a sudden becoming gay or bisexual or lesbian or whatever the case may be, you all said the same thing. We want an original character, or make an original character that this happens to naturally. Well, guess what? They did. And it's Superman's son. And you don't like that because it's Superman's son and he's wearing the S shape on his chest, which stands for hope, right? Is that correct? I believe so.
Yep.
So comic books, as a general rule, from the opening days of the Marvel universe, and even before that, have been all inclusive and talked about societal issues that have been going on right in front of our faces. And it has given us, the comic book reader, an opportunity while we escape reality to be a little bit grounded and think about what we're reading. X-Men is a prime example of that. The Milestone universe is another prime example of that. Shadowhawk, when he came out as a character, he was revealed to have had AIDS, and that was a big deal when that happened, right? And now you have Superman's son, not Superman, but Superman's son, who wears the S on his chest and represents the L family, is bisexual. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's a natural progressive arc for a character that was created like you guys wanted, that has since come out and revealed himself to be bisexual. Guess what? It happens in the real world every day. Nobody should care about that. Nobody should care about who loves who and how they love other people. If you don't want it in your comic books, then don't buy those comic books. There's no reason for you to be a jerk and yell and scream or put those stupid laugh emojis on Facebook on these topics in conversation and cuss out and cut down people that want to read good, engaging stories. If you don't want to, don't buy it, don't read it, but there's no reason to boycott it, because it's a ridiculous reason to boycott, right? That's my opinion.
Very well said. Very well said. Yeah, because they said people constantly were saying we want original characters, and there you go.
There it is.
Got what
right
you asked
there.
for.
Yeah.
People will always find a way to complain. They will always find something.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always those loud people that have no business being loud, but they're loud, and they speak louder than people that know how to have rational conversation and rational debate and still go get a beer afterwards, right? Because that's what normal people do. But when you yell and scream and threaten and things like that, then your argument becomes invalid, because now you have gone beyond debate and you've gone into ridicule and insult and aggression, and then your conversation doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, because you don't learn anything. It's just,
no,
I'd be insulting you, you'd be insulting me, and at the end of the day, we're both just insulting each other,
exactly.
and nobody's learned anything and gone any further. But yeah, I really like what you said. Very well said about that. And we shall see what happens. November 9th, the issue comes out of Superman, Son of Kal-El.
It's 5. Already on my pull list, and I've got the other issues right here waiting to be read again, so I can prepare for this.
Yeah, because it's definitely going to be a big issue, one to definitely pick up. And with that, we conclude our comic news for the week. And now, Tim, are we ready? We can go on to Do You Know?
Oh, I have been waiting for this since about 5:30 this afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. Sonny, I'm going to stump you.
All right, man. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first? You're the guest, so I'll let you choose.
I'll go ahead and give you my first question. This one will be easy. This one will ease you in. So, my Do You Knows are all horror related, horror themed, which kind of ties into our topic of the week. And it's spooky season, so you kind of have to. So, Sonny, what was the first comic title dedicated specifically to horror stories, original horror stories?
I will just say Werewolf by Night.
No, it is Eerie #1 that came out in 1947.
Oh wow!
Now there were way back then there were horror related stories in other comic books and things like that, and you had the true crime stuff and the dramatizations and things like that. But Eerie #1 was the first title specifically for original horror stories.
Nice, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And now I know.
Now you know.
#1, 1947. Okay, so now I will get to you. Since we are in episode 18, who made their first appearance in Marvel Superheroes 18?
I know it was a superhero. Marvel Superheroes number 18. Iron Fist.
Nope. It was actually the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I was close.
The awesome character. At least it's Marvel,
Right. Okay. Right on. That makes sense. What year was that? Do you know?
Was it 69?
I know. Was it? Is that the cover where it has them all spaced out on the front?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yondu.
Yeah. Well, okay. You ready for question 2?
Okay. Question number 2.
All right.
We both stumped each other once.
This is more modern. So this one you might get. Has Archie Comics ever put out a horror themed book? True or false?
True.
Okay, that is correct. What was the first horror themed book they ever put out? Do you know?
Just the name of their book?
The name of that specific title.
I didn't know. I would say like Archie Meets the Man Thing.
Close. Archie is close. It's Afterlife with Archie, and it came out in 2013.
Okay, yeah. So wow.
That was that was the year they dropped the Comics Code Authority, and then they put out Afterlife with Archie right after that.
Okay, so you got the true part right.
Yeah, so you got one right. You're 1 for 1 right now.
All right. Now, you get this. There's 2 actors. So we know Hugh Jackman plays Wolverine. We know Wolverine. We love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. But there were 2 actors who were originally given the part first, but they both turned it down. Do you know any of the actors?
Oh man, I want to say Dustin Hoffman was one.
No.
No,
But
okay.
you got another one, guys.
What about Kurt Russell?
Very close. Not Kurt Russell, but Russell Crowe.
Ah, God, half of it.
So like, oh, I heard Russell, but yeah, so Russell Crowe.
That's like half a point right there.
And the other actor was Doug Ray Scott. Yeah, and even too, like, I'm not too familiar. They said Doug Ray Scott actually not only turned down Wolverine, but he also turned down the role of Aragorn in Lord of the Rings.
And where's he at now?
Yeah,
Nobody knows.
Some little movies when I looked him up. Yeah,
right.
Like, wow.
Okay, so Sonny, you're 1 for 1. I'm half for 2. Number 3. I can't count today, so number 3. Name 2 horror authors that have written comic books. Not comic books based off of their material, but have actually written comic books. 2 horror authors.
Okay. I know he's done some of his works, but I'm gonna guess that he's done some other comics as well. I'm gonna say Clive Barker.
That is correct. Yes, Clive Barker has written horror comics. And who is the other one?
I'm gonna say Stephen King.
Holy smokes, you're smarter than I thought. So you're 2 for 3. That's fantastic. All right.
Good. Ooh, I don't know too many horror authors, but I know them.
Well, all right. I'm gonna justify. I'm gonna come from the ashes. I'm gonna rise like Jean Grey and the Phoenix. Let's do this.
Many times.
Right.
Okay. Since we were on to the subject of LGBT characters in comics, Monday was coming out day, and I said, let me see. Do you know who was the first character in DC to be openly gay?
In DC to be openly gay. Shoot. I want to say Renee Montoya, but I know that is incorrect. I know it's not Batwoman. I give up. I don't know.
I'll give you a hint. It goes with Hispanic Heritage Month. This character is very unknown.
Is it the Aztec?
No, it is a character named Extraño.
I have no idea who that is.
I was like, I'm like, maybe I'll ask Tim. I've heard before. And I'll do a bonus one for you because I didn't realize it was a super unknown character. Do you know the first openly gay character in Marvel?
Wasn't it North Star?
It was North.
That's right. Yeah, everybody knows that.
Yeah, North Star. Yeah, DC's was a character named Extraño.
What was his power? Do you know what he could do?
Magic.
Magic. Okay. Right on.
Said, do you know these comics that said he was in New Guardians and that he made his first appearance in Millennium 2?
See, now I'm gonna go read it. I'm gonna go check out the issue and see what it says.
And I just got a message from Jamie, and he's like, Sonny, I'm very disappointed that you did not bring up your books for any questions. Please bring up your books more and more.
That we're not at that segment yet.
Yeah. He wanted me to ask you questions about my books.
I was
trying to keep it comic related.
What material are you using to print the words on for paper? Do you know?
I usually just do online stuff, but I have done a few for myself, like just for a few people like around me, like close relatives, and it's been a site called Blurb. Wow. But I have to find something new. Yeah. Usually just put it online.
I am now on the hunt for that. I already have the link, so
there you go. You got those, and before I have them officially for everybody to read, they I'll make sure that it's all well. And right over there is my actual books. Some of them right there.
There you go. Right on.
But so there we go. There's Do You Know? And now, like you were saying, On the Hunt. So now we can move on to On the Hunt. Well, because of last week, I had to correct Jamie about, instead of saying Rick Jones, what if Rick Jones is the Incredible Hulk? I said, what if Rick James? But Now, after all that joking around, me being silly, I really want that comic. I really want What If Rick Jones was the Incredible Hulk. So what if Rick Jones is the Incredible Hulk? I'm on the hunt for it.
Sonny, Christmas is coming up, buddy. I will look for a 9.8 CGC or CBCS grade of that book, and you may get a gift before the end of the year.
I may just have to put it somewhere on the wall so that it appears in every episode now.
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be fantastic. Is that the only thing you're looking for, or do you have other things that you're kind of
I do have some other things, like before I mention that Quasar, obviously like certain books too, like ones like that everybody's coming for first appearances, things that, especially since you and Jamie both showed you had like the first appearance of Carnage. I'm feeling a little left out, but I was looking for it, and I'm like, yeah, that's not a cheap one. It's a.
I would wait until the hype dies down.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask you because I'm like, oh, this looks pretty good. Grab bags, like I was seeing on eBay, and sometimes people do grab bags, and maybe that'd be a good way for me to get some of these rare comics. Did you ever do them?
I have done grab bags before. I have done Torpedo Comics grab bags, and I have done the grab bags on eBay where they give you a picture list of what could be in a box. Yep. Now, this is my opinion on grab bags. If you are prepared to be surprised, by all means, spend the money. With Torpedo Comics, you're going to spend a lot. You're going to spend $60 or more, depending upon which mystery box they decide to do. It's like playing the lottery, man. You can either win a free ticket or you can win $1 million. It really depends. With that being,
I want a comic worth $3.6 million.
With that being said,
appearance.
when I did the Torpedo Comics grab bag, don't expect to make your money back in the issues that they give you, because you will not, because what they have them priced at, which is right there on the stick on the box or on the comic book itself, not the book itself, but the plastic. It is not what you'll look up on eBay for sold listings and current market value. It will be different. It will be lower. So be prepared for that. If you're interested in just getting a random assortment of books, some cool variants, which I was very happy to get, or stuff that you maybe normally wouldn't usually check out, by all means do it. The eBay stuff, if you buy the random grab bags that they don't tell you what you'll get, you're not going to get anything worth more than a couple of dollars, but that's not the point of those. The point of those is for people that want to increase their collections, or they want to get access to different titles that they normally wouldn't have thought of, or normally wouldn't see, or would pass over. Now with those grab bags, those blind ones, you have that access. But then the other ones where they give you the pictures of what could be in there, and they have all these CGC graded and signature series and this and that and the variant covers and all these other cool things, right? There's a possibility that you could get those, but who knows how many boxes that they've made. So those are cheaper than the Torpedo Comics stuff, but I like those a little bit more because I get some different stuff. I have a better chance of getting something cool, a CGC graded book or something like that. But if I'm going into there expecting to get that, I will be disappointed. If I go in not expecting it and just wanting to be surprised, absolutely.
That's what I think I would do. I think I will have to get one. Like I said, I'm not to be thinking about, I'm going to get this super expensive one. Just to have a good time.
If you got $30, instead of going to the comic shop and buying 5 issues, just do one of those and see what you get.
Yeah.
It's
I will have to get one. I'll have to get one, and I'll have to put it on our mail call.
Yeah, there you go. That would be awesome. That'd be amazing to see.
See my genuine reaction, if I'm happy, if I'm mad.
Yeah. Darn it.
It would be, yeah. I was gonna get Action Comics #1. All right. But Tim, what are you on the hunt for?
Well, there's 2 things. So my big on the hunt, and I'm closer to this than I've ever been before, is Uncanny X-Men 266, and that is the first appearance of Gambit. first full appearance, guys. The annual doesn't count because that's a cameo. But Uncanny 266, I have found a graded copy. Now, I am not naive enough to think that I can afford to get a 9.8, just popping dollar bills out to get it. Absolutely not. So the one that I found is an 8.5, and I am absolutely okay with that. The price is comfortable, and it's from a person that I trust. And I think I'm going to go forward with it within the next 2 weeks to a month to start working on getting that. Because I've told Jamie this. I don't know if I've told you, but I am working on collecting every single issue in Uncanny X-Men, and I'm starting from the last issue, 544, and going backwards. So, because I know all the older stuff is way more expensive than I can afford right now, so I'm starting from the end and working my way through, and 266 is one of those issues.
Well, maybe we'll be millionaires from the show, and you'll get all those issues.
Hey,
but
that's fantastic.
I don't want to make you jealous, but I have X-Men 266.
Do you have the facsimile edition?
Right here.
Oh, look at that.
In my epic collection.
That you're closer to it than I am. I don't even have a facsimile or anything like that.
That's as close as I'll get to it with my epic collection.
Sonny, I am insanely jealous right now. I quit the show. I'm out. No, the other stuff I'm working on, this is lesser stuff. A lot of people may not care about if you're heavy collectors, but I like the character and I like the story, and I want to finish the issues off, and I'm only short 2. So that's finishing off Deathlock Volume 2 from the 90s. I'm 2 issues shy, and that's the last 2 issues, 31 and 32. And I know that they had lower print runs, so their price is a little higher. And I always find reasons to buy other things instead of those 2, and I just need to get them and be done with it so I can close that book.
Nice. Yeah, maybe there'd be your from the vault sometime.
That'd be nice.
Yes. So that is the Deathlock, the one from the early 90s. Because I have a Deathlock trade. So the one you're collecting, is that the one that includes like Souls of the Cyberfolk?
I think so. It's the one from the 90s. It's like when Ghost Rider and All Hail Darkhawk and Deathlock and Super Pro and all those other guys came out at the same time. Yeah, Deathlock was one of those. You guys in comic book collecting, Darkhawk. All hail the mighty Darkhawk.
get that issue number 1. Yeah, I need to get that issue number 1 so I can
buy an
have enough money to retire if I feel like it.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, those are the ones that I'm sniffing around for right now.
There's our On the Hunt. And now we get on to our works.
Right on.
So for me, I have started writing my next book. So I announced before that in November, I'm going to start releasing Crimes 2 on Wattpad under my username, Son of the Writer.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, obviously, the original Crimes is written. It's on Wattpad. And now I'm currently writing the prequel to Crimes. I'm writing Crimes 0, A Dangerous Love. And that's what I started a few days ago. I'm still working on a series every day. But I'm like, I need to get to my writing. I love my writing. That's my favorite thing. So I got to it.
It's exciting to hear that series about a series. I'm invested. I'm ready to see what you do. And I've seen stills and stuff that you've put out with the green screen and painting your face and all that stuff. But your writing is what I'm super interested in. And it's exciting to me to know that you're working on another book. So I'm very happy about that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's in my heart, it's in my soul. That's what I like to say. If someone asks me what I do, I like to say writer first. And then I'm learning everything else, and I'm loving the acting, I'm loving the directing. Editing is fun, but it takes a very long time.
It absolutely does. I know that all too well.
But the writing is still my favorite. That's where I am at heart. And the stories come to my mind, and I try to put them on paper or online. And then with the series by series, you're trying to get that onto the screen, and it's taken a long time because I want it to be perfect. I want to make sure every part looks really nice.
Right.
Every part sounds really good. So that's what I'm working on the editing, and I've been editing some of the music to it and making sure certain things sound right, so that there's no silent parts, or that if I'm speaking to you, my character doesn't sound super loud, and then you sound really low, so everything sounds even, and then it just comes out to this beautiful masterpiece that everybody loves. And then next year, I could say, guys, get ready for more episodes.
You made a
So,
show. There
yeah.
you go.
So that's my our works for this week. Now, Tim, I know you've got a lot to tell us. You've got a lot going on with grading meat and everything.
I do. So like I said in the pre-show, I'll say it again. If you guys don't know, I do my main channel, which is Grade E Meat on YouTube. And I do that with my wonderful friend, Vampy. Her and I have known each other for over 20 years. And it's a show that we watch and review whatever we want to, movies we like, movies we've never seen, movies that are super duper popular that we absolutely despise. And we have a good time for the hour and a half that we're watching it. And then we talk about how we feel about it, give you an honest opinion and an honest review. And it's all condensed down into about 30 to 45-minute episodes. I know they're a little long, but if you guys sit through them, you'll enjoy them. And there's a lot of good content in there. I tell dad jokes a lot. So if you like those, there's stuff you can write down. But we have, we're knee deep into season 3 right now. We've done 2 episodes so far. We watched the entirety of Local 58, which if you guys haven't seen that, go watch me and Vampy watch that, and then go watch it again on the main channel for Local 58, so you can really get into it, or do it the other way around, whichever works best for you. And Jamie came on for an episode, and we did Adi Shankar's Bootleg Universe, which was absolutely fantastic. I love that stuff. We watched Punisher Dirty Laundry and Power Rangers Unauthorized. We just put out a new channel trailer that encompasses everything that Grady meets about in under 3 minutes. So go check that out. That'll give you a really good idea of what I do on there with myself and my friend Vampy. We also have interviewed some pretty important people, or at least to me. Pat Miller, who is Joey from Maximum Overdrive, which is one of my favorite movies. We got to sit down and talk to him for a little over an hour, and he has since become a personal friend of mine and Vampy's. We have other friends, Sonny. Like I said, we're trying to get you on there, but our agents just aren't communicating
properly. I got to work that out, and when we work it out, I'll make sure to be on there.
Yeah, but
it'll be a fun one. I'll make sure it's fun. But I'm sure it's always fun.
Oh,
I've been checking out some of the episodes. I checked, like I said, seeing Jamie on there when you guys going over the Punisher, and everything. Then sometimes just check out other parts too, and seeing your interviews. Hey, you've had a few special guests on there.
Our friend Amy, who does a channel for herself called Fantasy Fiction Fanatics. She's been on several times. We love having her on. Vampy's husband, Enigma of the Dragon, he's a Twitch streamer. He's been on. And we've had other people come on too. Friends of mine that I role play with on Monday nights for Dungeons and Dragons and other role playing games. They've come on and played some games with us, and we had an absolute blast. So yeah, Grade E Meat. If you guys haven't checked it out, I highly recommend you go do that. And I'm not saying that because I do it, but I am saying that because I do it, but I'm not, because I enjoy the content myself and I love sitting there and watching it. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Season 3 is in full swing right now. We've got Wednesday lunch specials if you don't have a whole lot of time. If you have even less time than 10 minutes, we have jerky bites that are 6 minutes and less. And you can go see some outtakes from previous seasons and stuff like that and see exactly what we do. It's awesome. Good time.
Yeah, it's been fun. I've enjoyed watching it, and I'm really looking forward to being a part of it, being on there.
Right on. I can't wait.
Check that out. Yeah. And I know you have new episodes what is the day you have new episodes?
So new episodes for the regular seasons come out every Saturday at 1 Eastern Standard and 12 noon Central Standard Time. So every Saturday for 13 weeks, we got new episodes coming out. Every Wednesday, we have Wednesday lunch specials, and jerky bites are done on Tuesdays and Thursdays in between seasons. So when season 3 ends around Christmas time, you'll have a month of jerky bites on Tuesday and Thursday that'll come out until season 4 starts.
Nice. Well, there you go. There is our works.
That's right.
Any last minute things you wanted to say before we move on?
No, I'm good to go. I've said more than enough.
All good. All good. Glad to have you. Glad to have you talking. Now I gotta see what's that glass you're drinking from. Is that a
It's
okay?
Iron Man.
Iron Man, nice. Okay, there we go, Iron Man. I had to see.
Yeah.
I was like, wait. Okay, that was very cool. I gotta get myself some of those. I see a
I
lot of
don't
people have like cool mugs. I don't have any.
I don't have grown-up glasses here. I have these glasses here, and this is what I drink my milk and my water and my soda and my juice and my beer out of. So yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, very cool. I like it. I love all my comic stuff.
Yeah.
So now, speaking of comic things, we go on to our topic of the week, which is
Yes.
what is the best horror themed comic you've read? And now, Jamie usually has our top three, but this week he's sent his top three to you, Tim. So I'll let you read them off.
Yep. Give me 1 second. So with the topic of the week, that was something you guys asked me to think about. And this is the first thing that came to mind. Again, it's spooky season. So, what better question to ask than what's the best horror comic you've ever read? So now the picks from when this question is asked on Facebook, these are at random. So get ready for this. Nick Wahlberg says Gideon Falls. I have never read Gideon Falls. I don't know anything about that, but I'm going to definitely check it out. Have you heard anything about Gideon Falls?
I have not.
No.
Not heard
Okay.
about. So yeah, another one that I have to look into.
So now we have homework.
Yeah.
Morgan Spiceman says Hellblazer by Garth Ennis. Anything Garth Ennis does, I have not had a problem with. I have loved just about everything that he's done. The Boys, Hellblazer, Preacher. I mean, the list goes on.
Cool.
And then,
one.
Yep. And then finally, James Thompson says Lock and Key, Crossed, The Walking Dead, and 30 Days of Night. Have you ever read Crossed?
I have not.
Holy smokes, dude. That is an experience on its own. It's very graphic. It's very detailed in its graphicness. But if it's something that you can handle and you can handle that type of horror book, I highly recommend reading.
Is it gonna give me
Crossed.
nightmares?
Possibly. It did me.
Okay, well, good. Well, if I read it, then I want those nightmares.
Oh. Okay, so Sonny, what's the best horror comic that you've ever read?
I'm not too familiar with reading so much of horror comic books, but I guess if I had to pick a horror theme, I guess the closest would be, if I had to pick, I guess I would say Swamp Thing. I'm a big fan of Swamp Thing, and I guess some people have put it in the horror theme. So okay, then I'll put it to, if it goes to the horror theme, I'm gonna put it and say that it is my favorite is the Saga of the Swamp Thing, and my favorite issue of Saga of the Swamp Thing is issue number 24 called Roots, and that is where so in the beginning of it, so this is close to the beginning of Alan Moore's run on the Saga of the Swamp Thing, and this pretty much brought the conclusion to his first story arc with the Swamp Thing. And in this issue, he finally comes to a climax where he fights the Floronic Man, and the Justice League are actually watching it. So
they're just sitting on the sidelines checking things out.
They're pretty much just watching it, because they realize like, who watches over the swamps and everything, and then even the Floronic Man even takes out a chainsaw from somebody and chainsaws somebody up.
Wow.
And he's got I'm a fan of like I said, horror stuff. So swamps makes me think of Friday the 13th. Somebody pulling out a chainsaw makes me think of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So my favorite horror theme is the Saga of the Swamp Thing, issue 24, Roots.
Right on. Okay. So with me, the best horror comics that I've ever read, there's a few. So let's go mainstream first. So mainstream first, one of the best horror comics I've ever read is Hearts of Darkness with Wolverine, the Punisher, and Ghost Rider going against Blackheart. Guys, if you have never read that, put yourself back in the 90s mind frame and read that story. Howard Mackey's writing is at his best there. And John Romita Jr.'s artwork, I think, is pinnacle for his performance in the 90s. It is absolutely a worthwhile and fantastic read, and you really get some insight into how Punisher, Wolverine, and Ghost Rider feel about certain things. You know what I mean? Like what really makes them the type of heroes that they are. And I can't say it enough. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's a wonderful read, and I highly recommend it. On that, moving on from that, Afterlife with Archie. If you want to read, if you've ever been on the fence about getting into Archie comics, Afterlife with Archie is the book you need to read, because it is not like any of the Archie comics that you've ever read before, and it is absolutely mind-blowing. I read that back in 2013 when it came out, and I was hooked. First issue, I was hooked. Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, Jughead, Archie, Betty, Veronica, the whole gang is in there, and it is absolutely phenomenal to read what they did in that. It's separate from the main Archie universe, obviously, but it's well worth a read. And then going back into what some of the picks were, with Crossed guys. I discovered Crossed on Reddit in their comic book forum, r/comic books, I believe. And people were talking about something similar to this, like, what books did you read that had a lasting impression on you? And this guy said Crossed, and he gave a small description of what it was and spoke about this one particular scene in the book that really haunted him. Now, I in turn went and got I think it's the first 5 issues, 5 or 6, I can't remember, but I went and found them and got them and read them. Holy smokes. It's intense. It's aggressive. It is unapologetic. It is very violent. It is very graphic. And they hold no punches with what they put in front of you. If stuff like that bothers you, I don't recommend reading it at all. But if you can read something like that and look at the pictures on the page and realize that it's fiction, it's not real, and it can't hurt you, then it'll be a great story that will leave a lasting impression. Those are my picks. Those are the things I recommend people check out.
And I can say I have read Hearts of Darkness.
What did you think of it?
I do agree with it. I like it, and it's a quick one. I was surprised by how that it's not like a long story.
It's really self-contained.
Yeah, but like I said, obviously it's just the action straight away, and you get to see some of your favorite heroes. Wolverine, the Punisher, Ghost Rider, go to hell and fight some demons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a good quick read. Yeah, definitely, like I said, perfect for October for
Halloween. Absolutely.
Yeah, and in a few days we'll have a topic of the week posted. Maybe it'll be another horror theme thing since we are in October. And now, speaking of horror themes, speaking of Ghost Rider, we get to our review, which is Marvel Premiere number 28, The Legion of Monsters, which is actually called, inside of it, it is called There's a Mountain on Sunset Boulevard. Now, Tim, I know you will do a Decoding Panels episode on this.
Yeah, this will come eventually.
Give everyone a little preview, and I'll let you take the review away.
Okay, so this was written by Bill Mantlo. Pencils are by Frank Robbins. Inker is Steve Gahn. Colors by Janice Cohen. She's done a lot of stuff that I've read recently. And letters are by Karen Mantlo. The story starts in Los Angeles, and out of nowhere, this mountain shoots up out of the ground. But it's not a super huge mountain, but it's a mountain, and it shoots up out of the ground and causes all kinds of chaos.
There's an earthquake.
Yeah, right. Well, let me tell you something, lady. This ain't no movie.
Yep, there you go.
But it tosses Johnny Blaze off of his bike because he just so happens to be in Los Angeles going to see a movie. Right? That makes sense. So that happens, and Morbius is in the issue. And Werewolf by Night is there, and so is Man-Thing. This was a middle of the road issue for me. This was not something that I got really into. Like like, okay, the 70s writing is very evident there. The book did not age well as far as the writing goes. The artwork is the artwork, and I enjoyed that in the aspect of the time it came from and things like that. But and he stayed consistent with the way that Ghost Rider looked, the way Morbius looked throughout the book, and the way Man-Thing looked. And I really loved his portrayal of Man-Thing. So Frank Robbins, you did a really great job there. As far as the story goes, spoiler alert, they never become the Legion of Monsters. Spoiler alert, they never become a team, and they just beat the snot out of each other for 32 pages, and then they all leave. Right? So it's fair. It's a fair book. I give this a straight even 5 out of 10. Artwork was consistent, and it was with the times, and it was good. The writing was not phenomenal, but it was not subpar. It was very descriptive, and it did a good job telling the story that it wanted to tell. The story that it told just wasn't a very good one to me, because the cover is very misleading. Legion of Monsters, stay away. We can't even fight that. Well, no, you can't, because you beat the crap out of each other for the whole issue, and then whatever happened to the guy happened to the guy. So yeah, unfortunately, middle of the road, 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. And the guy Starseed.
Oh my God.
Starseed, the cool
Warlock
name
before Warlock.
Yeah. So like I said, he came. The title, the cover I was reading, I was looking at like a list of like good comics to read in October. And I found, okay, that's pretty cool. Let's give this one a shot. And the cover is misleading. Like I said, they don't become the Legion of Monsters.
Nope, not at all.
But you do still have the 4 characters in there, so I was glad about that. From the opening page, you get to see it's a Man-Thing, Werewolf by Night, Morbius, and Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider was the most level-headed throughout the whole issue.
To me, because it was starting, and I was like, oh, it's a mountain just appears, and then suddenly, but it kind of gave me some good laughs. Like suddenly, like you said, randomly, it does seem very 70s. So okay, 70s look. You could tell by the dialogue. So I could tell some younger viewers might not care for it so much.
Right.
I thought it was kind of funny when like Morbius just suddenly starts fighting Werewolf by Night, and then the guy Starseed comes out, and then I'm like, okay, maybe it's gonna be because he's this guy, he's all gold, and they're monsters. It's gonna turn into something like, oh, he's the real monster, and just because they look different. And really, he just starts telling a story about this may offend Demi Lovato, but aliens. He says aliens, took over his people. It was a very cheap-looking alien that was red and had like random eyes. And then he talks about how he got it back.
Yeah.
And then he's just telling the story, and then Werewolf by Night just attacks him.
Right, out of nowhere. He's like, I'm gonna get you. And Morbius is like, that's a good idea. I'm gonna do that too.
So the guy just gets jumped, and they gave me a good laugh. I was like, wow, this isn't like, it's not a Daredevil Born Again. It's
not
like before I did annual Red Hood and the Outlaws. It's not like something where it's story driven. It's just kind of funny. They're fighting. They did a little talking, then he gets beat up, and Ghost Rider's like trying to defend him.
Right, trying to save him.
Man-Thing's just there trying to grab, and Ghost Rider is the only level-headed character.
All Man-Thing wanted to do was let Ghost Rider know, hey, I'm on your side. As soon as Man-Thing touched Ghost Rider, Ghost Rider was like, whoa, I'm gonna beat you up now because you touched me.
Yeah, and I thought at the end there was a little bit of a twist where it shows that they should not have attacked somebody that just appeared and just started talking to them.
Yeah.
But for me, this 70s wild comic of Marvel Premiere 28, The Legion of Monsters, like I said, it doesn't rank as one of the best, but I did end up enjoying it. It's a quick, fun read. It gave me some good laughs, and I rate it an 8.5. If you're in the mood for just something quick and fun, then I think you might enjoy this. Especially, I like the characters. I like Ghost Rider, Morbius, Werewolf by Night, Man-Thing. So
I can
they're in there.
I can respect that. 8.5 out of 10 for sheer fun factor alone. I can respect that. I can get behind that.
So that's why I give Marvel Premiere 28 8.5.
Hey guys, how's it going? My name's the Starseed. I'm here to live in this mountain. I'm
Second.
Ghost Rider. This is Morbius. This is Werewolf by Night, and that's Man Thing. We're gonna kick the crap out of you. What?
Pretty much,
Why?
Yeah, and Ghost Rider will be the only one defending you.
Yes.
Yes, they're just a wild out there comic book that, like I said, for fear the fun of it was what made it the best thing for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Right on. Well, that's cool, man.
Yeah, so with that, we can say that next week, hopefully Jamie should be back. If he is back, we will be reviewing, it is scheduled, we're planning to review the comic that he picked out for me, Deadpool versus Carnage.
Ooh.
And yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it's fun like this one, but a better storyline. And I'm guessing the artwork will definitely be better because it's not
I would imagine.
But yeah, I am looking forward to Deadpool versus Carnage. Tim, it's been great having you on. Thank you for stepping up again, filling in place of Jamie this time. Any last minute things you'd like to say to everybody before we close the show?
Yeah, absolutely. Sonny, thank you very much for having me on here today. It has been an absolute blast. I have had a great time sitting here talking with you about comic books and stuff that we just love on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful, and I hope that we get to do this again with Jamie with us next time. So that way we can all be together and talk about this. Jamie, enjoy your well-deserved rest, my good friend. You deserve it. And I will be happy to relinquish this seat back to you when you come back next week, so I can get back to work on some decoding panel stuff for you guys. Yeah, decoding panels, lots of cool stuff coming out in the future. Flash #0, you guys already reviewed that. That's on its way. Dark Ages #2, within 2 weeks after each of those issues release for the miniseries, there will be a decoding panels for those.
I gotta get to reading those.
So well, you've got decoding panels episodes to watch. So
help me out.
There you go.
Holding it.
We've also got some other cool stuff down the pipeline. That would be Red Hood and the Outlaws #1. You guys reviewed that also. Silver Surfer Annual #6, that's coming, and also special Marvel edition. And I really had to look that up to make sure it wasn't misplaced words. It is special Marvel edition #15. That's the first appearance of Shang-Chi. And also one that I tossed in the mix, and this will be the Batman / Spawn crossover that Image Comics put out, where Spawn becomes Hamburger Face and gets the Batarang stuck in his head. But yeah,
nice.
Beyond that,
awesome characters.
Beyond that, lots of other cool stuff coming on the decoding panel side of things. And once again, guys, I do Grady Meat, so if you get a chance, go over there and take a peek at that after you're done consuming all the comic book news and comic book information and decoding panels you can stomach.
Yeah, well, thank you again, Tim, for stepping in. We always enjoy having you. Everybody, thank you again for always viewing, liking, subscribing, tuning into all of our stuff that we put out there. We're doing the best to put more things out there, more content for everybody. Jamie, I'll see you next week, man. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to Deadpool versus Carnage. And yeah, Tim, I look forward to your decoding panels episode of this amazing story we went over today. and the Punisher Circle of Blood, which I know Jamie is really excited for.
It's his favorite Punisher series ever written.
Yes. So with that, everybody, take care, enjoy. I'll see you all next week. Take care. Good night.